This is our introductory lecture for decision making under uncertainty, risk, and decision trees. So our general plan is to start with uncertainty methods. So these are when you don't know the probabilities. We have 5 of those. Risk is assuming specific probabilities for different states, navigating through that. And then we'll apply trees to that and wrap up. So decision making under uncertainty are simple rules that act kind of like probabilities, but they're more, I think we'd say, beliefs rather than true estimates. So we apply our feelings or beliefs or opinions about what things matter in making a decision, and then apply it to figuring out the best thing to do rationally given those beliefs. So the first one we'll cover is the simplest of the decision-making methods, and it is This is decision-making under optimism or optimistic decision-making. So if you think about an optimist, they tend to view the world as having good outcomes. They tend to believe that things will go better than they really will. And so if they were deciding between multiple outcomes, they will assign the outcome for a particular choice to be an optimistic outcome. So for example, if I'm an optimist, I might have to choose between being a painter and a rap artist. And if I'm a painter and I paint, I'm going to have my works in the Guggenheim, and I'm going to be touring the country lecturing on the quality of my art, and I'll be well regarded in artist circles. And if I choose to be a rap artist instead, I'll be fantastically wealthy and have fame and glory and opportunity to direct my own music videos. So nowhere in there do I fail as an artist or fail as a rapper. I'm going to believe that everything will turn out well, but even given that belief, right, if I believe I will be a world-famous painter or a world-famous rap artist, I still have to choose between those two. So maybe I'm not optimistic that I can do both at the same time. I've got to pick one. And then I'm stuck choosing, well, which one do I like better? And so I may choose to do one or the other depending on priorities or perceived value of the optimistic outcome. So we're going to apply that in a business setting to an opportunity to build a factory that produces goods for sale. So we have 3 different versions of the project. We can build a large plant that will have a large capacity, which, if demand is low, will cause severe financial consequences. Or we could make a small plant, which under most circumstances will sell all of its output, or we could not build a plant. So an optimistic decision maker will assume the best in all of these choices. So if I build a small plant, the best thing that can happen is demand being big, and I sell all of my production and things are great. If I build a big plant, things are great, I sell all of my production and I make even more money. And if I build no plant, things are great and nothing bad happens, nothing good happens either. So an optimistic decision maker is going to they're going to look at the most optimistic outcome for all of the different choices and then assume that outcome will happen. So for example, an optimist would believe in this case that a boom would occur if I build a big plant, and it also would believe a boom would occur if there was a small plant, and they would perhaps believe a recession would occur if they didn't do anything. So but the best of all possible outcomes is, okay, if I build the big plant, I'm going to make $140,000 because it's going to be a boom. And if I build a small plant, I'm going to get $80,000 because it's going to be a boom. And if I build nothing, I'm going to get nothing because it's going to be a recession. So now notice that if we're thinking about probability-based decision making, we can't make the state of the world contingent on our choice. The plant doesn't cause the boom. The boom is something that exists outside. But if you're an optimistic decision maker, that doesn't stop you, right? If I choose to be a repo man, the economy is going to be terrible, and if I choose to sell Coach bags, the economy is going to be fantastic. Optimistic decision makers have no problem being schizophrenic with respect to the future state of the world, so long as it looks favorably upon the choice they made in the past. So this is maybe a little different than you might think of, and that's important because it means we're not optimistic across states, we're optimistic across choices. So we don't just think boom because that's the optimistic outcome. Another example would be if I'm selling hot dogs versus umbrellas, an optimist would believe it's raining if I sell umbrellas. An optimist doesn't think sun no matter what, and therefore no umbrellas. An optimist thinks umbrellas, therefore rain. So given this particular situation, I've got $140,000 if I build the big plant, 80 if I build the small, and 0 if I build none. So I will choose the big plant because 140,000 is the best of the best outcomes. Hence we call optimistic maxi-max because it maximizes the maximum outcome. A different kind of decision-making method is pessimistic. So in the pessimistic decision-making method, we assume the worst thing will happen given our choice. So if we build the big plant, it's going to be a recession. If we build the small plant, it's going to be a recession. And if we do nothing, it's going to be a boom. Given those beliefs, then we can rationally choose the outcome with the best result. Now notice this is different from choosing the outcome with the worst result. So if we believe that if I build a big plant, I'll lose $100,000, a pessimist does not go choose a big plant in order to lose $100,000. They would choose nothing because that's the best of the worst outcomes. Right? A decision maker that goes and seeks that negative 100,000, that would be a self-hating decision maker, or that would be a different method that really wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't be rational. Pessimism is rational. It just has differing beliefs about the likelihood of certain states. So given a choice between negative 100,000, negative 20,000, and 0, a pessimist would choose 0. Alright, so let's let you give this one a shot. So we've got 3 different kinds of financial securities. We've got bank stocks, non-financials, and commercial paper. And we've got interest rate expectations. So interest rates could go up, interest rates could stay flat, or interest rates could go down. And so now we can apply our decision-making method to these and ask, what would a maxi-max investor buy? That's an optimistic investor. And what would a maxi-min investor buy? A pessimistic. So pause the video and give it some thought and decide which is going to be best. Okay, let's think about maxi-max first. So if we choose bank stocks, the best is going to be 14%. If we choose non-financials, the best is going to be 12%. And if we choose commercial paper, the best is going to be 1%. So a maxi-max investor would choose bank stocks. A maxi-min investor, if we choose banks, we'll get negative 10. If we choose non-financials, we'll get negative 5. And if we choose commercial paper, we'll get 1. And so a maxi-min investor will choose commercial paper. Okay, so when we pick up the video just in a second, we'll do another one that's maybe a little more difficult here. Let's just see here. All right, so here we go. We've got 3 different things we can choose: magic, mystery, or mayhem. I mean, these are obviously just generic names, but that's the choice. Do I choose magic, or do I choose mystery, do I choose mayhem? And 3 different outcomes: excellent, great, or fantastic. So this is meant to highlight that the state doesn't necessarily have to be there doesn't necessarily have to be an obvious hierarchy in the states. So now the question is, if I'm an optimistic decision maker, which of these 3 things would I choose? So pause and think carefully about this. Okay, so if I'm an optimistic decision maker, I will choose. If I choose magic, I'll assume 8, mystery 4, and mayhem 2. So naturally, I would choose magic because magic is the choice that gives me the best outcome.